Well, hello. How are you today? I'm really glad you're back. Today is Masterclass number 5. I'm excited to share the information with you. So I am going to share my screen and we'll go through the deck. We'll talk about what's going well. Live the Quitter's Life, Quit Smoking, Masterclass number 5. That's a good one. Your journey continues. You now have been smoke-free for 2 weeks. So you are officially a non-smoker. You have all the fun adventures of your new healthy life right in front of you, right? Congratulations on your achievement. I'm very proud of you. Continuing down this road is very rewarding. However, I know it can be very hard. We all know that, right? This week, we're going to talk about self-sabotage, some things that, get in your way and how not to self-sabotage yourself. And you'll be able to use this in all aspects of your life. So please continue doing your daily hypnosis. It is one of the keys to helping you change and maintaining your mindset. Let's get started. And as a reminder, your withdrawal symptoms will still probably be there a little bit, but they should be very manageable at this point. So please don't allow yourself to kind of be caught off guard by some of your triggers because you're starting to feel better and more in control. So just make sure that you've got everything lined up and ready to go. So my story continued. Let's see. I was professional at creating excuses in order to foster my smoking habit. And I've talked about that all the way through. You can't be a smoker for 38 years and try and quit for the majority of those 38 years without being truly the queen of giving yourself excuses. Or the king, however it may be. So I've come up with an excuse to smoke a cigarette no matter what. In my lifetime, you could think of it, I have probably used it. For many years, I saw people around me battling cancer and emphysema. But, somehow I was invincible. This was not going to be my lot. I exercised, I ate well, I was thin, I was healthy, right? So none of those bad things were going to happen to me. I once even, this one's a really good one, convinced a friend of mine that was on his deathbed with cancer. His mother was calling him crying every day because she was devastated. His doctors finally gave up trying to convince the man not to smoke. It was amazing. I literally convinced him, as he's telling me these stories of his mother calling him, telling me these from his hospital bed, and that the doctor was finally like, okay, go ahead and smoke. And that's when I started laughing, and he and I was like listening to all of his excuses and the things that he had actually convinced other people who truly cared about his health and loved him dearly to let him go ahead and keep smoking. It was amazing. And so as we talked, he and I laughed, and he finally realized, oh my God, that is what I've done. And he walked away from it. He beat cancer. He walked away from it and obviously never touched another cigarette again. And it was awesome. A few years later, I hadn't seen him and I ran into him. And it was at a big show, and he comes running over to give me a big hug and tell me thank you. And all the guys that he worked with were there. And he's like, this is the woman that I was talking to on the phone that day. It made me feel so good. But the really sad part of it is after I spoke with him, I went outside and had a cigarette. Oh my gosh. It was incredible. I still was able to give myself excuses to spend my money, eating into my retirement, shortening my life, and reducing my quality of life as I moved on. So finally, one day, as I was planning all the adventures that my husband and I would have when we retired, I realized that really it was never going to happen. We were just planning all this stuff and, and looking at it and spending time on it, but it was not going to happen. I really couldn't hike to the top of a mountain, or the top of a steep hill. It doesn't really have to be a mountain. It was time for me to give up my smoker identity and fight the fears, all the fears of pain, of failure and the pain of what all I had to let go. So I did that and became a non-smoker. All I had to do was not smoke, right? I identified as a non-smoker, and now I had to be that. So that's what we're talking about today, is how you can do that too. So, overview of session 5. Welcome, we already did that. My story, we did that too. The ground rules, we'll zip through them real quick. What's going well, we will stop and do that. So make sure you have your pencil and paper handy. We're going to go through a small review, and then we'll go into the self-sabotage. We're going to talk a little bit about pain versus pleasure. We'll go through your action steps for the week and your ahas. So here we are, ground rules. Masterclass coaching will let you become the person you want to be, right? That has been the goal. We've been working on closing the gap from where you are today to where you want to be. And that's being a lifelong non-smoker or a non-smoker forever, right? We're going to continue to focus on what's going right. We're going to push you outside your comfort zone. The program is designed for you to be able to hold yourself accountable, okay? And we're going to continue to help you to explore and understand your limiting powers, those excuses, the limiting powers that you have been using to keep you where you are or where you have been. Because today you're already a non-smoker, right? So we're going to use those to shore you up and make sure you stay as a non-smoker. So the rules of the game. You should be reviewing the masterclass every 7 days for 6 weeks. So it's this one and one more. You should listen to your daily hypnosis. You should listen to your motivational speaker. If you don't have one, keep exploring. You'll find one that clicks with you. It's very important. And you need to have a paper and pencil for the exercises or to take notes, obviously, as we go through today. So here we go. You've seen this slide. It looks like I made the font bigger this time, but other than that, it's the same slide. So what's going well? I'm going to have you stop the masterclass and write down your answers to the 3 questions below. What's going well? What is something that you are proud of doing or trying in the last 7 days, no matter how tiny the effort? Okay? Your answer must be in the positive. A positive answer, remember, acts as a motivator and helps to propel you forward. No using limiting factors or negative self-talk. Second question, does it feel good to acknowledge what is going well? Do you feel a surge of energy just by thinking about what's going on? That's the third question. So let the extra energy guide you to make better decisions for yourself. When we focus on what's not going well, we make poor decisions. Okay? I'd like you to stop the masterclass right now. Go ahead and answer the 3 questions. What's going well? Does it feel good to acknowledge what is going well? And do you feel a surge of energy just thinking about what's going well? Okay, so let's review. Are you planning your week ahead? You started doing that a couple weeks ago. Thinking about what's coming up, looking for situations that could trigger a craving and preparing the strategy in advance. So what will you do? What is the situation or the high-risk situation that potentially is going to happen for this next 7 days in front of you? And what solution do you know will work to help you not have anything trigger and cause you to go and have a cigarette? So prepare your strategy. Look through your week. Do you have a big meeting? Do you have a big family function? What do you have that could cause that stress or cause a trigger to happen? And go ahead and get that down on paper. You know, X is going to happen on Tuesday, and so I am ready. Okay? Hypnosis. I want to make sure that you are continuing to use your daily hypnosis. If you haven't been doing that, I do recommend that you do them and allow them to support your new lifestyle. They are very important and very helpful. I know that for a lot of us, this is probably the portion of what I have been speaking to that is somewhat uncomfortable. If you're still in that boat 5 weeks in, I don't want you to quit trying. I want you to sit down and see if you can get there and make sure that you're using your hypnosis every day. It really will help. Your hypnosis can be done more than once a day. Those of you that are using it should already be seeing the benefit of it and feeling very good about it. So I want you to go ahead and add in a goal setting hypnosis. There should be one in the packet under the additionals that I have given you in order for you to use that. But go ahead and add in another one. Keep doing the smoking one because you need to reinforce that for a good 30 to 60 days before you're ready to kind of go away from that one on a consistent basis. Anchors. Are you using your anchors throughout the day to reinforce your commitment to be that non-smoker? Are you getting the power that your anchors give you and the confidence that they make you feel in knowing that you are a non-smoker, you've got this, it's not an issue, nothing's going to shake your foundation. Keep those anchors going. Go back and review your 5 anchors that you originally put together or the ones that you've adjusted as we've gone through the weeks and make sure they're strong, make sure they're working for you, and make sure you're using them. Force yourself to use them because they will eventually just become a habit and you will no longer think about them. Everything that we're doing is working on habit change. And if we don't change the habit, we always have to think about being positive or think about what we're going to do to feel strong in order to be that non-smoker. It will get tiring, right? And you won't keep up with it. So we need to turn it into a habit. So by you continuing to use them and making yourself utilize your anchors every day, there's going to be a couple that stick and they stick really good. And 10 years from now, you're going to be like, I just use these 2 things. They work like a charm for me in all aspects of my life. And you'll be maybe silly if you've got punches and jabs like I do is your main anchor. And I can anchor anything to punches and jabs and make myself feel strong and invincible and capable. So stop the masterclass. I want you to make a list of your potential high-risk situations for the upcoming week. And then I want you to start adding this thought process to your journal, your nightly journals. That way, when you're journaling, you can think, I have this tomorrow, here's my situation, and here's my solution. And you're ready for the next day, and nothing's going to shake the foundation that you've been building. So stop the date. Okay, so now we're going to talk about self-sabotage. There's 3 different stages. You may find that each one of these resonates with you. Some of them you may use less frequently than others, but let's go through them and pay attention to the one that really means something to you because this is the one that is obviously your biggest area that you self-sabotage using. So the first one is something else always seems more important, right? So let me ask you a question. When you get on an airplane, what is one of the first things that the stewardess, they go through all the rules and regulations and they say, when you're flying, why do they tell you to put your face mask on first? Right? Something else always seems more important. If it is more important for me to put the face mask on my child than myself, that's called self-sabotage. Because if I don't take care of me, then I may not be able to take care of others. Okay? So something else is not always more important. Self-sabotage happens when something else gets in the way. So you give yourself the excuse to start later because someone else's needs are more important than yours, meaning somebody else is having a crisis so you don't get to do your hypnosis. Somebody else is having a crisis so you don't get to listen to your motivational speaker or review your anchors or do your journaling All of those things that help you to put you first and keep you prioritized at the top of your list for your health, okay? You're too busy and getting pushed to the bottom of the priority list. That's another way that we use something else is always more important. I'm so busy, I don't have time to do X. You know, how do I fit that in my schedule? If that's still an issue for you, I do want you to go back to the clearing the clutter exercise and let's clear out some more clutter. Clutter can be things that are in your schedule that you're signing up for that you don't have to do. Or they can be just clutter around the house that tends to bring you down. Go back and let's get some of that clutter, additional clutter cleared out of the way. Okay? And do you never get any me time? So make sure you're scheduling your me time. And me time is also part of the rewards that you give yourself for accomplishing another day, week, month of not smoking, right? As a non-smoker. So make sure you're getting a little bit of me time. You might not get it every day, but you know, something once a week that's special for you, whether it's time to take a bath, get your hair done, go get a massage, take a nice long walk, go to the park, whatever is something that you enjoy, okay? And do you let everything else take precedence? Is there just somehow, because some people always do, something else is more important, always. They always let someone else take precedence. Pay attention. If this is you, go back and let's get some reordering done with using the clearing the clutter, okay? So here's the next one. This one's fun. Desiring acceptance, good and bad. So do you desire acceptance when you do things you didn't want to in order to not letting other people down? Okay, so let's talk about what that really means. Some of us desire acceptance, meaning after dinner, everybody goes out for a smoke. We don't want to be the only one sitting inside not having a cigarette. And that doesn't happen these days, you know, as much as others. This one works really good, you know, when you think about if you're at work at break time, your smoking buddy, who you've gone outside and smoked with for years, probably, or at least a very long period of time, shows up and they don't have anybody else to go smoke with. They're like, I know you stopped smoking, but there's nobody to go smoking with me. Will you come? Well, you feel guilty. And you think, well, you know, I got a couple weeks under my belt. I can go. No, don't. Okay? You can't desire acceptance. Go the other way. It's like, no, but I'll go down and get a cup of coffee with you in order to be accepted and part of the gang. They can go ahead and change. Your body can change for you. And that's okay to ask them to do that. You know, you can put this down to food really easily. Someone in your family makes your favorite dish and they want you to eat multiple helpings. So you do until you feel stuck, right? Because you're desiring acceptance. You don't want to be negative and say, no, I don't want any more, right? We do this a lot with food, if you think about it. You also do it with smoking, such as the buddy thing, you know, with regards to when someone stops by. It's time to let go of that feeling. Just because you choose not to do something does not mean that you're good or bad, okay? Thank the part of you that's been protecting you all of these years, because realistically, in the case of smoking, it hasn't been protecting you all these years. And ask, what am I wanting to belong to or keep by not letting go? So that's a good question. Write that one down. Ask yourself, what am I wanting to belong to or keep by not letting go? Okay? So, the first two, something else always seems more important, and we desire acceptance, good or bad. And the third, self-sabotage. I have been good, so I deserve ... In our case, I wrote a cigarette. Already filled that one in for you. So this one, for many people, is right there at the top of the list. But let's go through it. Do you find yourself saying, I have been good, so I deserve? This is a punish/reward system. You reward yourself for your good behaviors and you punish yourself for your bad behaviors. And you're doing this in all portions of your life. So if this is you, this is very important that you pay attention to this because you need to stop this. You are worthy. You don't punish yourself for bad things and reward yourself for good things. You can give yourself an award because you've achieved something. But what we do is we take that to a whole nother level. So if this is you and you sit down and think about this, you'll know that you do it all the time. And it's not a positive for your lifestyle. So this one's definitely worth working on. What do you do if you feel that you've been bad? Right? Well, I've been good, so I deserve a cigarette. Well, if I feel bad, in the case of a smoker, a lot of times I've been bad, so I might as well just go ahead and smoke another one, right? So we are able to use the same thing to smoke the cigarette, regardless of how we say it. But you can apply this to other things, and it makes a difference. And if you've been good, you smoke a cigarette. So sabotage shows up in many ways. We have a fear of changing. It's naturally built into us. We don't want to change. It's our brain tells us no, 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 because it's afraid that we'll grow apart from people that we love, right? And so when things start to feel really good, like you're starting to feel really good, you've got this, you're moving in the right direction, you're feeling strong, you're a non-smoker, sometimes our bodies and our mind freak out, and your mind wants to get back to normal. It's not normal for you to be not doing these things. And so it naturally starts pushing you back. So we'll give ourselves an excuse, right, to bring ourselves back into balance by smoking the cigarette, because that has been the norm for so long, and being the non-smoker without smoking a cigarette has just been a short period of time. So that's not the norm yet. The goal is to keep that, stay with it, it will become the norm, okay? So on this one, ask yourself, what is the purpose of the compulsion to stay a smoker and less than optimally healthy, right? So what is the purpose of the compulsion to stay a smoker? That part of your brain that says, oh, this isn't normal, go back to normal, and stay less than optimally healthy. Do you have one? Can you find one? I could not. So this one was, pretty good as long as I utilized that question. So go through. Those are your 3 self-sabotages. So now we're going to actually do a self-sabotage exercise. We're going to put the conditions in place for you to be able to make positive choices. So your tools for positive choice. You're going to use your high-risk situations that we talked about at the beginning. So you should already have some written down for today. And I want you to picture yourself in the coming week. Ask yourself what needs to be put into place for inevitable success. Okay, that's your solution. What needs to be put into place for inevitable success? Ask yourself these questions. I got more for you. And if you follow through, what will having that do for you? So if you follow through without smoking, what will you gain? Right? Will you gain a healthier body? Will you gain pride in yourself? Will you gain more money in your pocket? What will you gain? And if you follow through, what will not having that do for you? What will not smoking do for you? It's the same thing, just different, right? So if I follow through as a non-smoker, what will not having those cigarettes do for me? Well, I'm going to do a whole lot. I'm going to feel healthier. I'm going to start breathing easier. I'm probably going to feel better about myself. I'm not going to smell like cigarette smoke. I'm not going to have ashtrays around my house. I'm not going to have to worry about whether I have cigarettes enough for when I wake up in the morning. So what are all the good reasons for getting what you want and becoming a non-smoker? So I need you to write down these 4 questions because we're going to have you fill them all out, okay? And then what are all the bad reasons that you want what are all the bad reasons for getting what you want and becoming a non-smoker? The same questions, just in reverse. Then I want you to fill in the following. What needs to be in place is X. What is the benefit? Which makes you feel Y. I feel good about myself, right? What needs to be in place is a plan. What is the benefit of that? I will become healthier. I will become a non-smoker. I will be proud of myself. It makes me feel proud. Which benefits other more important people in my life, which benefits my family, because I will live a healthier, longer life. Okay? I want you to write down all of these questions. I'll give you a minute to take them down from the slide. Then I want you to stop the masterclass and answer those questions. That should take a good, 10 minutes. Remember, you're going to use your high-risk situations that you have for this upcoming week to answer these questions. Okay? Okay. So you're back. Now let's shake out the heavy stuff. Wiggle your toes and loosen your jaw. And we're going to do the breathing exercise. We're going to go through it today 3 times just so that I can make sure that you're comfortable using it. If you haven't been using it, I do want you to start. You'll find that it is a very helpful when a craving hits. You also find in the future that you use it for other things. So close your eyes and we're going to breathe in through the nose for 5. We're going to hold for 5. And then we're going to let it out for 7. Breathe in for 5. Hold for 5. Out for 7. One more time. Breathe in for 5. Hold for 5. And out for 7. Awesome. How do you feel? Are your shoulders a little bit looser? Do you feel a little better? Make sure you're using this every day. It's good to use it 10 times in a row. It will really loosen up your body. It's perfect to do right before a hypnosis. It's perfect to do right before bed. It's also very easy to use anywhere. When you're at work, riding the train, riding in the car, you can go ahead and do your breathing. Obviously, if you're driving the car, you probably don't want to shut your eyes. Okay, so next, let's explore your non-smoker identity, your reasons for getting what you want. Okay, what 5 bad reasons? What are 5 bad reasons for getting what you want? That's not written correctly. Who else might be negatively affected if you don't change? I just want you to answer these as we go through them. Okay. What will you not be able to do? What will you not be able to see? Will you be able to see your future? Will you be able to see an adventure that you wanted to do in the future? And what will you not be able to feel? Will you not be able to feel that sense of pride? Will you not be able to feel some happiness that you've had to let go of? And so the next questions are, what are 5 good reasons for getting what you want? If you follow through, what does that look like? If you follow through, what does that look like? What does it look like? Is your life longer? Is it healthier? Are you playing with the grandkids? Are you playing with the children? Have you started taking care of yourself better in other ways? Have you become a millionaire, a billionaire, a trillionaire? I don't know. Lots of good things could happen. And you can write any. How will you feel? When you get what you want as a non-smoker, how will you feel? Will you feel good? Will you feel proud of yourself? Will you feel happy, content? What will your life be like? Will you go on more adventures than you've gone in the past? Will you take more walks? Will you enjoy more time with family and friends? Will you not miss out on some things because you're not outside smoking? Who else will receive the benefits of you getting what you want? Who else? Think about it. Your family, right? People that you work with, maybe. And what will you do with the money you save? We kind of went through this in the financial exercise, but let's think about it again. What do you really want to do with that money? Are you going to use it for a reward for yourself each month? Are you going to save it all up for the end of the year and get yourself a trip or a vacation that you've always dreamed of, or get new appliances for the kitchen? How are you going to use that money? Are you going to save it for college? Are you going to put it in an emergency fund so you don't have stress? It is time to let go of the I can't guilty feelings. So I want you to thank the part of you that has protected you for so long. The part that's been self-sabotaging, the part that gives you excuses and takes you back to smoking the cigarettes. You can thank it. Just let go of the guilty feelings and thank that part that has taken care of you all these years. Okay? But let it go. Ask, what am I wanting to belong to or keep by not letting go? So ask yourself, what are you wanting to belong to? Or what do you want to keep by not letting go? What is it that you get from that, from smoking? Do you get anything? Okay. So now I want you to connect with the part of you that has been afraid to change. Because we all have that. We have a part of us that just doesn't want to change. Tell that part that is afraid to change that it's okay. It's okay for you to let go and change. You are allowed to. You have permission to. You deserve to. And thank the part that didn't want you to change for protecting you all these years. But it's time to move on. Time to let go. New exciting things are happening for you mentally and physically. Let the old part of you change and accept the new developments. So this is what you need to keep working through and continuing to explore your new non-smoker identity and the reasons for getting what you want. We're going to talk quickly about pain versus pleasure and how this actually influences our lives. We naturally focus on our need to avoid pain, even if that means we must give up pleasure. We can learn to control our pain and pleasure by focusing on what we link to them. We've kind of talked about this in the past. Improving our health, which will in turn allow us to focus on an improved quality of life, new adventures, inner peace, to enjoy your life, have more happiness each day. We then need to focus on linking enough pain to the fear that is stopping us from accomplishing our dreams and goals. My goal was to improve my mental and physical health in order to live longer and enjoy my life more thoroughly. For me, this would bring new adventure into my life and to the life of all those around me, right? So what is stopping you from accomplishing your goal? Do you associate more pain to improving your health? Right? Is there pain to that? Do I associate pleasure to my next adventure? I have to associate more pain to improving my health and more pleasure to having a cigarette in order to keep smoking. Do I not? So the goal between the pain and pleasure is for me or you to put enough pain on what smoking does to my life, to my body, to my family's health, to my family's future, and my future, versus the pleasure that I will receive, all of the adventures, the better quality of life, the longer life, the happiness that it will bring to me, the pride. You have to put more pain on continuing to do what you're doing versus the pleasure of what you will receive. And then you'll be able to let go and do it and walk away from it. So, do you procrastinate and not take the steps to move forward? Do you say, oh, I'll do that next week, tomorrow I've got this, la la la. I have all these things in my way, right? I'm pushing myself to the bottom of the list and I'm giving myself excuses. So don't let that get in the way. Then another question, why do we put things off? Is it because we're focused on the immediate pain versus the ultimate pleasure of achieving that goal, right? We focus on all of the pain, all of the withdrawal symptoms, all of the cravings, all of the difficulties, all of the change that we have to do. You don't get to go out for break. You don't get to do this. You don't get to do that. We focus on the immediate pain of making that go away and getting our arms around it and the dysfunction that it adds to our lives with all of the changes we have to do versus ultimate pleasure that we'll achieve when we accomplish that goal. When we put things off, we think that taking action will be more painful than if we go through the process to get the work done, right? That's what we're doing, pain versus pleasure. When we let the pain win versus the pleasure. Since preventing the pain will always win out over gaining the pleasure, just so you know, we need to change how we focus our mental power. Psychologically, we are made to stay away from pain. When we were a caveman and the saber-toothed tiger was chasing us, we were running to get away from the pain, right? So our mind automatically has this fight or flight to get away from pain, even if there's more pleasure on the other side. So you do have to be very conscious about that the pain or the fear of the pain is one of the biggest things that's stopping you. You naturally go there. As long as you know that, you're going to catch it and allow yourself to go towards that pleasure. But you do have to get leverage on yourself in order to get enough leverage on what you will receive when you accomplish the goal in order to get to the pleasure, right? And the pleasure in this case is the pleasure of being a non-smoker. So pain versus pleasure. Grab a pencil. This is your exercise for the day. The top 5 actions you need to take right now. So pain versus pleasure. What are the top 5 actions that you need? Quit smoking. Remain a smoker forever, right? You want to be a non-smoker forever. Lose weight. Get your finances in order. Make more money. Call someone that you've argued with. Call someone that you haven't spoken to in a long time but feel that you should. What are the top 5 actions that you need to take right now? So you're going to write that down. And the next part of this is write down what is the pain you associate with doing the action, right? Because we are afraid. Example, if I want to become a non-smoker, I associate pain to drinking coffee without a cigarette. Very simple one. It's not really painful, but we do associate that. To being good every single day. I mean, it's painful to think, oh my gosh, I gotta be good every single day. I worry about having a setback and letting other people down again, and on and on and on. So write down what is the pain that you associate most with doing the action, okay? Then write down the pleasure you will get by not following through. Example, I get pleasure from smoking a cigarette. It reminds me of when I was young and free. I enjoy going to the patio with my friends and having a drink and a cigarette. Okay? So write down the pleasure you get by not following through. Now you're going to work on creating your why. Write down what it will cost you if you do not change. How this will make you feel. Example, if I don't quit smoking, I will take 10 years off my life. I will miss my grandchildren. Perhaps miss seeing all of the things my children will accomplish in their life. And I will have to live on an oxygen tank someday. Okay, there's my why. And for me, that is a very strong why. Your why might be completely different, but you got to have a strong why in order to knock through that pain. Create your why and write down what you will gain if you do it now. So here's the sentence, and I want you to fill the sentence. If I allow myself to blank, I will have blank, and I will get to enjoy blank for the rest of my life. If I allow myself to become a non-smoker, I will have a healthier body and lifestyle and get to enjoy my family for all the rest of my life. Your blanks are yours. If I allow myself to blank, I will have blank and get to enjoy blank for all the rest of my life. Learning to control your mental focus and where you link your pain will allow you to accomplish all of your dreams and desires. Okay? So this pain versus pleasure thought process is really very important that you understand. We do not want pain. We run from pain because it's too difficult to get through the pain, and we are automatically triggered in our mind to stay away from pain. But sometimes we have to get through the pain in order to get to the pleasure. So I want you to stop the masterclass and go ahead and get these done if you didn't do them while we're talking it through. Okay, so you're back. Action steps. We're all done for this week. You have your self-sabotage exercise. So go back through your self-sabotage. Make sure you review your exercise. Flush it out if you didn't get it fully done. Okay? And make sure which one of the three is probably most directed towards you and that you're paying attention to it. Go through the non-smoker identity exercise again and make sure that you understand how that affects you and what you can do. Pain versus pleasure exercise, that's the one we just completed. Make sure you're doing your daily hypnosis, your daily motivational, and do not forget to share your accomplishments each day with your friends and family online. Shout it to the world, stick it on Post-it notes, stick it on your computer, stick it on your refrigerator, whatever you need to do to continue to remind yourself of what an incredible accomplishment you are. And each just for you. Tell yourself thank you. Look yourself in the mirror and say, I love you. You are awesome. Okay? So, today, your ahas. What insights have you gained today? And what appreciations have you discovered? I will see you next week. Have a great week, a good week as a non-smoker.